Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to the Muslim Game Changers podcast, where we bring you inspiring stories from the best and brightest of the Muslim world. I'm your Hussein, and I'm very excited to take you on a journey of discovery featuring high-profile Muslim leaders from all around the globe. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome back to the Muslim Game Changer podcast. So grateful for you being here today, the second episode already. Today we have an exceptional guest in our midst, Nayyara Idrees. With over 18 years of experience as an AVP in compliance, Nayyara's expertise in the banking industry is in a league of its own. A true differentiator lies in the solid foundation of trust she has forged over the years at Abu Dhabi Bank. When she's not conquering the compliance space, Nayyara finds joy in spending quality time with her family. And I thought of sharing this beautiful quote by a German philosopher on the topic. In family life, love is the oil that eases friction, the cement that binds closer together, and the music that brings harmony. We couldn't be more thrilled to have her on the show today, sharing her invaluable insights with all of us, inshallah. Without further ado, let's dive into this conversation, shall we? Assalamu alaikum, Naya. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah, I am fine. Very good, Shaheen, and I'm hoping the same for you as well.
I'm so honored to have this discussion today. So honored for your time. So grateful. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much. And may Allah reward you 1,000 times. My first question is, Nayyara, can you let us know where were you born and where did you spend your childhood?
Okay, so I born in UAE, United Arab Emirates, within the city of Abu Dhabi. That is the capital of UAE. Mm-hmm. And I spent my childhood in Abu Dhabi.
Very good. So can you let us know, for instance, why, I think if I'm not mistaken, you're still in Abu Dhabi, and a lot of people, for instance, are going into Dubai, think of the UAE just as Dubai. Why this choice of staying in Abu Dhabi? Can you let us know why? And have you ever been attracted to, for instance, moving to Dubai, or are you really like preferring the lifestyle, the quality of life in Abu Dhabi?
See, this is always about the preferences of a person. So yeah. I born in Abu Dhabi. I stayed whole of my life in Abu Dhabi. So Dubai is not that far from me. It's many people even works in Dubai and lives in Abu Dhabi and vice versa. If you ask me why I don't choose to move to Dubai, it's just my personal preference. I always like to stay in the calm places. Dubai is very fast. I considered as a person. I'm not sure about other people's opinion, but what I consider like Abu Dhabi is a quiet place, calm place, and I live here since my childhood. Though I have been spending my time back in Pakistan also for completing my studies. Mm-hmm. This is the place where Abu Dhabi is the place where I started my first full-time job after completing my master's degree. So I love to be here. My whole family is here. And,
amazing.
So I never think about to go and stay in any other place within UAE. Yeah.
This is very good. That's fascinating, Nayyara. I just wanted to know also because Abu Dhabi seems a bit more conservative. You know, there's the Sheikh Zayed Mosque. It's a bit less, maybe a little bit less touristic than Dubai. And I wanted to know how do you balance, your personal life, work? Is there a time for you to go to the mosque, or your husband goes to the mosque? Is there a place for religion which is maybe higher in Abu Dhabi? Was that also in your choice when you chose to stay in Abu Dhabi, work in Abu Dhabi, make your life there?
Oh yes, Shaheen. I'm sure the people who knows the places here or whoever have been even visited once in UAE, they know that there is every half meter there is a mosque. So every street crossing there is a mosque. So that's never been a problem since I born here. So that's not even a question of thinking about it. That is our main base. So prayer is we have to do the prayer, and all the opportunity we have it is alhamdulillah. We're staying at the place where we have all these opportunities to not having any problem. Even though we are on a full-time job, we have the time always to go out and do our prayers on time and never been. So the people who have even once visited here, they know the places here. From this perspective, is not a problem at all. And talking about Abu Dhabi and how I'm taking time out, so I never have been having any issues while doing my work or even at staying at home, because even though within Abu Dhabi, I'm staying in an island, so I have all the opportunity to just go down to my my residence, and I have all the nature under my place. So that's not a problem at all. I would say that.
This is so cool. Honestly, we learn a lot of things. For instance, me, I was ignoring that there was so much mosque in Abu Dhabi, so I'm really learning a lot. I wanted to know, so you were telling us that you were born in the UAE, in Abu Dhabi. Can you let us know about a bit of your education, what you have done? Let's say we have to rewind to the 18-year-old version of Nayyara and what you have done since then in terms of investing in your learning and what you have acquired since then. What has been your career? How has it started? Let us know, please.
Oh, that would be great, Shaheen. As you said, rewind you back to 18 years. I would love to do that, because if I have that remote, I can put myself back to that where I'll be 18 years old, which I am thinking now, whatever more I can do at that point of time, I would have that opportunity. You know, that teleporting stuff, which I can just teleport myself back into that time. But anyways, Alhamdulillah. I have completed my education from Pakistan, Lahore. I studied from Punjab University, my master's. Before that, I have done my bachelor's degree, which is in commerce, BCom, and that was also completed from Punjab colleges, PCC, which is also in Lahore. And that's how, when I talk about my education in master's, which is my last degree, which I have from an education perspective from the university, that is master's in business economics. So I pursue that subject specifically because of my keen interest into business. And in addition to that, when I have got an opportunity to also learn economics side of it and having a master's degree in that, I just rushed and booked myself, and I said that yes, I have to do this. And that was a good decision, because those skills which I learned at that time, till date, I am utilizing that in my career. So after completing my master's, yes, I done some internships, but that is part of like your trainings. After completing the master's degree back in Pakistan, Lahore, I joined certain banks there in Lahore to do some internship training courses there, or which you call it as in-house training. So my full-time career started from Abu Dhabi only. I came back in 2005, and I started my job in 2006 February, back in that time in National Bank of Abu Dhabi. That was like a government financial institute at that point of time. And when I started my career also in the bank, that was not in the field or not in this compliance background. I was a fresh, graduate, and I have done completed my education, and I started it. So it was basically in the Department of Operations. So we're just talking, of course, different. See, when we talk about financial institutes, we know that it has a wide variety where you can always have many skills which you can add up.
Okay, very good, very interesting. Honestly, a huge investment in like your education, which paid off really well. It's really amazing, alhamdulillah. And I wanted to know, do you miss Lahore? It's your roots. It's where you're from. So like your ethnicity is from there. And I wanted to know, how would you compare a bit of the lifestyle between Lahore, Abu Dhabi? Are there some common points maybe? Do you see a lot of Pakistanis, Pakistani culture in the UAE, which remind you a bit of, your roots?
Okay, so Pakistan is in my heart. Okay, so that thing you cannot take away from any person who, if you consider any new person visited Pakistan, they will say the same. So the hospitality, the people is in the most. The clean hearts of the people, you will find it in that place. I am not comparing the scope which we found it on media or on the news. Just go and try it from your own self. You will find a really different picture which you got it on the news. Considering me, my opinion, if I compare it from back home to here in UAE, since I born here in UAE, this is also like my heart. So this is the place where I born. So wherever you born and wherever you spend your childhood, that place is always close to you. And for me, yes, my most of the life I stays in Abu Dhabi only. So if I'm comparing back from Lahore to UAE, Abu Dhabi, I would say that I never feel a very much difference between both the places, because what you consider being a Muslim in your own Muslim country, and Alhamdulillah, these both places are Muslim countries. So what we consider a freedom of your religion, you can perform your religious stuff without thinking about any restrictions. And both the places, Alhamdulillah, I have that freedom, right? In addition to that, if you consider from a cultural perspective, yes, it's a wide difference between the traditions which we follow back in Pakistan or which we follow here in Abu Dhabi or UAE specifically. I have many Emirati friends and colleagues, and very close my brothers and sisters here in UAE. Since I born, I have those French friends and the family friends here in UAE itself. And believe me, the traditions and cultures which I enjoy with them is the same feeling of happiness which I got when I enjoy back in Lahore. So I don't feel that much, difference where I'm feeling like out of the world, or I just have to do something which I'm not liking it from my heart. So I never feel that. So believe me, Shaheen, if I go back to Pakistan, I feel it's my home, and I am here back in UAE, I feel it's my home.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
This is so well said. This is poetic. This is beautiful. I wanted to know, Nayyara, from an external perspective, I have the impression that a lot of Pakistanis dream of working from Pakistan, dream of working in the UAE. I think it's like the United States, but like in Asia. I feel like it's where people want to work. They want to provide for their family back home. I wanted to know if you have any type of advice for them so that they know that their education in Pakistan, back in Pakistan, can be recognized in the UAE. They can have a chance to find an internship maybe in the UAE. Do you have any type of advice from your perspective?
Yes, definitely. I can, even from my own personal experiences, I can tell you this, that your education in Pakistan is very well recognized here in UAE. My master's degree from Punjab University, Pakistan, has an equivalency here in UAE as a master's degree.
Excellent.
So I have that equivalency here, and it's considered on the same level as well. Yes, you have to do some additional, whenever we go outside of our country, where we actually belongs to, and in a new country, though you considered you are educated from a certain level of education, but in addition to that, you remember this always. This is just an advice for everyone, that we have to always polish our skills. So when I have a skill back in home in Pakistan, maybe it's very good there to utilize it. But when you go out of your country, you need to consider the competition is very big outside of the country. So when we say competition, that means it's like a race. You know? It's the first standard, second standard, third standard. So you have the number where you are standing. It's not like you are everybody having the master's degree, they are standing on the same line. It's a big no. You have to have those extra skills. You have to have those extra appearances, which can definitely making you standing out comparing to the others. So this is on you. You know your personality, self. You know your capabilities. So this is all up to you. Nobody can tell you what to do better than you tell to yourself, to polish yourself. So always think this, that if you have a CA or a big degree or a master's or double master's from Pakistan or whichever, but when you're stepping out to another jurisdiction in the world, remember that the competitions are very high. So we have to always think about in that perspective. I would always say that should never become overconfident. Keep remembering this. No one is best in this world. So no one knows everything. There is always a space that we are not knowing at certain point of time.
There was a Greek philosopher who once said, I am the wisest man on earth because I'm the only one who knows nothing. And basically he has the modesty of telling himself, even if I'm among the best philosopher of Greece, of ancient Greece, I'm actually the one who thinks I know the least. And a career is all about investing in yourself. And some people in my business school previously, they thought that once you get the degree, it stops there. It doesn't stop there. It actually begins there, because you have to keep on learning things, because the day you're going to apply, the only difference, it's like Nayyara said, please listen to the advices of Nayyara. She's saying that basically it's a tough race, and then everyone got a master degree. We're in a competitive global economy. The only thing which is going to make a difference is how much you have continued on learning. This is some huge advice here. I wanted to know, Nayyara, you told us that you began in operations in banking. So what moved you to compliance? What attracted you to this field?
Okay, see, compliance itself, if you are not of that background, by just getting the word compliant or compliance, either it's a financial institute, NBFIs, which is non-banking, and in any other place where the compliance department is. And as we all know, now compliance is mandatory in every type of a business or every type of an institute. So there is a compliance field. So the word compliance itself is attractive to me from the beginning, always. I started my career back in operations. It always been in my mind that I have to somehow reach to compliance, because I wanted to learn those things, not only just because one day learning, I wanted to make it part of my life. So compliance, I always considered it like it's a policeman. Back in that time, before I knowing this word, it's like a person who tells someone what is right and what is wrong. If I don't know that part of the area, then I can't never be in that field. So I always wanted to just have any chance to get to this world, join this department or a section where I can start my learning, my career, my knowledge to improve, so that I can know that at least if I have this knowledge, what is right and what is wrong. So the differentiation doing in both things, that is the place where, you have to keep your mind works, because it's an investigation in any case. Even though if something related to compliance, it is part of investigation where you land up region of letting someone know that please proceed or please, hey, stop. So this is something, it always gives me this feeling of having a power of something where I have a power. So this thing's always fascinated me back in the time in 2006 when I joined the bank. I started my career in an operation, though operation is the backbone of any bank, where the fundamental or the base of any bank, that how the things works, in numbers. That is the time when I joined, and I just joined in operations, not in any easy part of the operation. I joined in the fund transfers, basically. So fund transfer is, of course, you have to be very much careful with the technology also, because our world is moving with the technology now. Back in time when I started in operations, it was also a good time for me to learn those basics, and having to know that how the technology operates with the manual work happening with the numbers, and that just adding 1 0 anywhere changed the whole picture.
In France, for instance, we have in education a choice between mathematics, literature, scientific fields, and I always advise for anything that relates to science, mathematics is a good choice from high school, because in high school you can make those broad type of choices, and then when you move to postgraduate, you can be more precise in the choice of education. But the very basis, having a mathematical background, will help you in any regards, whether it is health career or a finance career, a general business career. So I think really having this backbone of mathematics, a quantitative type of background, will help you in your whole career. That's very important to make the right choices at the very beginning. I know some of the audience will be youth. I'm just addressing to them. Thank you so much, Nayyara, for this. Fun fact is that I found Nayyara by, I try to look out for very inspiring Muslim brothers and sisters. And I was trying to look at people working in the biggest banks of the UAE. And one of the toppest banks was first Abu Dhabi Bank. And this is how I found Nayyara on LinkedIn. I wanted to ask, when the thought of working at first Abu Dhabi Bank crossed your mind? I know you told me it's been 2006, 2005 since since you're working there. So when did it cross your mind to work there?
Because at that point of time, as I said, it's the first Abu Dhabi bank just after the merger between the two biggest banks in UAE. It became first Abu Dhabi Bank.
Okay.
So before the merger, it was National Bank of Abu Dhabi, where I joined back in 2006 February, and at that time it was considered as a government bank. It's like a government institute, like how in Pakistan we have National Bank of Pakistan. So after State Bank of Pakistan, we have National Bank of Pakistan. So in any jurisdiction of the world, you have those national banks, which is considered as a government entities or serving government financial institute. So that is how I joined, because my father was a government employee at that time also, and he was working in a different field in the government department. And he told me that if you found something nice in relation to the government field, either it's a financial institute in relation to your investment companies or something, it's good to go. So then you start your work in that field, because this is what I always prefer for you, since I have been in connect with the government department here since the time he came into UAE. He came into UAE at the age of 18 years old. So that's the background somehow I gave you about my father also.
So your father came at 18 years old. 18 years old he left. Oh my, this is amazing.
Yes, he was 18 years old when he came to UAE. So the picture at that point of time when he's showing me all this, or whenever we talk, it's totally different than the world which we are in today's days. But anyway, so that is the time I got an opportunity, alhamdulillah. And one of the interviewer was also a boss of mine, which was from Pakistan again. He was one of the interviewer, and he was the head of operations at that point of time. And just clicked. It just considered everything for me as a fine. And I was very happy because I just finished in like November, December in 2005. And after a gap of like 1 or 2 months, I joined in 2006, February. So it was a great opportunity. At that time, I started my career back in operations. And it was also in a critical field of fund transfer department. It really looks interesting to me, and I continued it. I never look outside of anywhere else where I think I can move, though when many opportunities came. During your career, you will find many opportunities within the same area of jurisdiction or within a whole over the world is open for you if you keep on working on your skills. But I never look outside to go out of NBAD. And alhamdulillah, with the Allah help and with my wishes, alhamdulillah, I am staying at the same place, at the same bank, same organization I'm working for. I feel like always happiness in myself to be being loyal to my own organization, where I am not just going away out of there. This is the place which gives me a first opportunity to have that knowledge platform, and also to give me an opportunity to start earning my own self, independent. So from financial perspective. So before a few years back, the merger happens between the two big banks in UAE, and this was first National Bank of Abu Dhabi and the First Gulf Bank, and that merged make it as the First Abu Dhabi Bank.
Is this now a private bank, or is this public type of bank?
No, it is not private, though the same entity holds the same state. So bank hold the same state of having that government controls, because all the main hub of the country, or the main investments or everything from the government is in this bank, and all the position doesn't changes with the merger. Actually, it makes it more stronger.
You seem very passionate when you were talking about compliance. Me personally, I fear compliance. If I was the colleague of Nayyara, I would fear Nayyara at work. But basically, and you seem like a very structured individual, very structured, very hardworking. You would have been a great lawyer, for instance. I wanted to know more about your job. I think, for instance, if we have active professionals, they might know compliance. If we have younger listeners, they might not know. So if you could explain your job, what you do on a daily basis, for instance, if you could describe a typical work week or some typical missions that you have, this would be amazing.
If I talk about compliance background, back maybe in 8 to 9 years back, I moved into compliance. And compliance is not the field of also, again, a certain specific specialization. Compliance itself is a very vast. field. From my own personal experience, I can tell you that how I moved from one expertise department to another expertise department within compliance. So I joined compliance from a transaction monitoring team. So what is transaction monitoring team? It's the team where the fund transfers moved within the bank, and there is a team who sits and look into those transfers and to clear it from the perspective of there is no harm in this transfer, to let it go through to the bank or let it to come in the bank. So those guys sitting with the controls of making it move out or move in, clearing it or giving the approvals to let it go or let it in. So that is also one of the teams within compliance in every banking sector. And I was got an opportunity to be part of that team as a transaction monitoring. And transaction monitoring, then you have to segregate or separate it from which perspective is the transaction monitoring. Either it's from AML, which is anti-money laundering perspective, or from sanctions. So I was given an opportunity to become a part from a sanctions perspective. So I joined that team back in maybe 9-10 years back, and that time I became a part of that sanctions transaction monitoring team. That work, when you say that it's hardworking work, that is 24/7, and we do have shift. Either it's day or night, we have to monitor that queues of monitoring stuff within the systems, and that is 24/7. I do remember those times back in that where I got a call from US, or I have to get up off my bed, run at the time of like 2 a.m. in the night, and that was the time we don't have those laptops or work from home options, because this happens just after the pandemic, and then these things happen. So actually this is one of the benefit of pandemic we got. So remotely working was not that time very common. So I remember those times then we have to rush, and alhamdulillah, I am a mother of 2 kids, but I do manage these things because this is my work and I hold responsible for it. Any work you do, you are a responsible person. So you have to give your full dedication to anything. Either it's your home, it's your family, or it's your work or career or studies. That is the work which really makes me more responsible. So it also increased my considerations towards the work, which really makes you like more responsibility comes on you, and then you feel like you feel like you're getting an empowerment in that case. Anyways, at that point of time, I moved from that team to another advisory role team. From sanction advisory role, I have been an assistant vice president for 3 to 4 or 5 years. I've been there working as an advisory role, where whole the bank will send you from any jurisdiction. They can send it to you, the queries, and you have to give them the advices. Either you approve or reject, or you give them the advice how to proceed it in that perspective. Currently, I am in a team which is more than 2 years now. These all what I'm explaining it to you is within compliance itself. So now I am working as an assistant vice president as a compliance advisory from private banking sector. So basically, the private banking clients, every bank have it. So those key clients, any issues with their profile, with their accounts, with their onboarding stuff, or any issues which are concerning to compliance, it comes to me. So I'm the one who gave them the advices internally within the bank. So there are different teams works on different projects. Whenever from a private banking customer have any approval required from compliance, so that reaches to my mailbox.
I learned so much through this conversation because I know some elements. For instance, I knew more about anti-money laundering, but I ignored certain aspects of it. So even me, I learned a lot through this conversation. Nayyara, a lot of people in Europe, since there is a bit of Islamophobia in certain parts of Europe, they are dreaming of going to the Middle East because basically it's Muslim traditions, it's Muslim type of cultures which are supported by the government. So they want to work there because it's very competitive. The economy is competitive. It's something we wonder because in Europe, we have a lot of work-life balance. For instance, if I tell you how much hours we work in France, the regular employee in France works 35 hours, but someone which is in like an office type of position works 40 40 hours. 40 hours. If an American person listens to this, he will faint. He will want to come to France directly. But basically, I wanted to know how much time would you estimate you work in a week, in a regular week time? I wanted the audience to also realize that, for instance, here, you told us about the time you had to wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning and go to the bank because there was no remote tools at that time. This is something, for instance, in certain parts of Europe, it's impossible. But in the Middle East, it's very hardworking, very competitive. If you're not going to do it, someone else going to do it. This is something you have to know. If you're dreaming of the Middle East, you're going to have to hard work. And it seems like a very hardworking type of pace at work. So I wanted to know, what's the regular work week time? And what's your vision of like hard work? If you have any advice for active professionals that they have to expect to hard work also in the UAE, because it's very competitive. It's part of the expectations maybe. So tell us.
Every statement when we talk, it always have different perspective of the listener. When I said that I get up and this, it doesn't mean it's a workaholic place and where you have back. Okay, so I said that in consideration of making me more responsible towards my work, and anyone can go. Maybe I say that, okay, considering me, I am ill, I'm not well, or anybody else will back up me. So there are always the people who back up you. It's not always a one-man show. It can never be a one-man show. It's always a teamwork in any place, especially in the financial institutes where the team works. So talking about the timings, when you said in Europe it's 40 hours a week, right? You have this. So if I tell you, you will be surprised. I'm not sure, because I'm when I'm listening it to you, I'm thinking like you are looking me like I'm working in Japan, where I have to sleep in front of my desk in the office, which is actually not at all. We have 8 hours a day, which also add up with 1 hour break. And actually we got 2 hours break because we have a prayer break as well in addition to the lunch.
You have a prayer. Wait. You have a prayer break?
We do have prayer break. So we do our prayer and we do because we got Zohar and we got Asr during our working hours. So we got the prayer break and everybody do the prayer. So it's in addition to that. So I didn't finish explaining my perks, by the way. So after listening this, everybody will be interested, of course.
Yeah.
When I say that it's 8 hours, so I have five working hours in a week. So I have Saturday, Sunday off, and Friday is considered my work from home, which I work remotely with my own pace, with my own status of availability. And it depends upon the organization, what perks they give it to their employees. I do have 2 to 3 days in a month to work on a flexible working arrangement. So those 2 to 3 works in a month, I can work anywhere in the world by using that. And this is for everyone working in the same organization. And this comes from an HR, it comes from the organization. But if I consider, or if I tell you about overall working here in this field or in this specific expertise or the department, so we have a very much open working environment where we work with our own pace. Though there are certain times which we, being a responsible, we know that this is an important task, I have to do it. So being reached to that certain level, when you understand your responsibilities, then there is not someone have to tell you this. So no one comes and tell me this, that you have to do this. I know that what I have, what is my responsibility and what is required at that time to do it. It's not, somebody stand on your head or somebody camera is watching you. We have a flexibility, we have a open working environment, and we have all the time for the family to spend for our weekends.
This is very good. And I wanted to know, for instance, for Ramadan, what are the work adjustments like? Because this is something which I've always been curious about. What are the adjustments that you do in the UAE for work purposes?
So we have definitely, being in a Muslim country, and especially in UAE, this is the blessful month, and this is the blessing from having to be staying and spending your Ramadan time here in UAE. We have a very much working flexibility from our offices. So our working hours are in a day become short from 8 to 9 to 5 and 6. So our working hours gets reduced.
Oh, okay.
So the working hours gets reduced, and that also you consider your break time in that as well. So that's why I said from 5 to 6. So basically working hours become 4 to 5 during the time. So it is very short. In Ramadan is my best time in whole of the year, where I have a less time to work and more time I got to do my prayers, to do my stuff. I got the time of the only in this month. So always every year I look forward when the Ramadan is coming, and I miss that month. Definitely.
This is so good to hear, because, for instance, personally, I will talk on behalf of like the western part of Europe. I think also the Americans will relate. Ramadan is the hardest part for me of the whole year, because I tell myself I don't want to talk about it with my manager at work. At lunchtime, I have to stay working, not to appear like doing nothing. I cannot go look at people having lunch at the canteen, the corporate canteen. So basically, for me, it's the hardest part. But alhamdulillah, I'm not going to complain. Our Somali brothers, I don't know, back in Somalia, they might be facing hunger, etc. So I tell myself I'm blessed in any case, but it's truly amazing to hear about this.
Not only that, Shaheen, because it's not about just the working time. I would definitely add up here. It's about the respect, because remember that this place is like globally open for everyone. So here is a lot of non-Muslims work with us. So the respect is very much, I saw it here, working here, where the people who are non-Muslims, they don't eat in front of you. Corporate pantry areas where you sit and eat in your offices, those areas get covered with the blinds, and the respect is all around. You can see that during this month, and this is very good time, especially for a working person, when we work in this place during Ramadan. And definitely schools are at the same also get closed. Early closures are there, because just to respecting for the time.
I don't know if you realize how much inspiration you're gonna get, because this seems like a normal thing to you, but honestly, me, I feel inspired, and a lot of people are gonna feel inspired by this. It's really like something you can only dream of. You do not even know that this was possible, and this is so good. So the multicultural type of aspect of it is also very beautiful. That people respect, people live in harmony towards each other. This is how things should be. So it's very good. Back to work, back to the corporate side of things. I wanted to know if you find time. You have a beautiful family, you have your work. If you have time aside to keep on learning things, and how do you tackle this? How do you get yourself into learning things if you have the time?
Shaheen, talk on the spot, because this is the thing which I wanted to cover at this time before we ran out, because compliance, I would always advise to all the listeners, compliance, not only any career, you need to keep on update yourself. So when I mean update yourself, you need to keep improve your knowledge into your work, into your career, into your expertise, because as we said, no one is perfect and nothing gonna be perfect. You need to keep on improve yourself. So how I get a time out, it's not easy, Shaheen, but I push myself, I stretch myself out, but I need to do that, because I wanted to keep on continue my career with the strong knowledge, which I have to keep on grow myself. So when I talk about compliance, it's not an easy field. You hold the responsibility of approving something or rejecting something. So you have that power, but that power comes with the responsibility. This is also monitored from your country regulators, your decisions. So anything which goes wrong goes direct straight to the regulator of the country, which is everywhere. For the bank, you consider as a central bank of UAE, right? And every country have their banking sector regulators, which are their central banks, or you call it as a state bank back in Pakistan. These are the regulators of every financial banking institute. You need to be very careful in compliance, because what you're saying is really making a sense, and which has to have a strong background of what makes you to take this decision. Back in 2 years back in 2021, I alhamdulillah completed a certification from ACAMS ACAMS, which is a certified anti-money laundering specialist.
Very good.
And there are around 40,000 graduates all over the world, and Alhamdulillah, I'm one of them. So that's a very good certificate. If you are in the compliance field, I would always suggest that go for it. And it's not very easy. It's not very difficult. It all depends on you, what you are going to get it out of it. Though I took a lot of time, I am not going to hide it from you. I took a lot of time for this preparation, by the way, for this exam, because I just not wanted to pass it, because it's 120 questions and you have to pass, I think, 70 something to get passed for this exam. I didn't do that because I could do that by just preparing, because I have an experience of like 10 to 12 to 13 years at that time, 14 years. I could do that very easily, but just scoring a 70 marks and got the certificate out. But I didn't do that. Why? Because I wanted to learn to give the best. And Alhamdulillah, I have given the best score. Out of that 90 plus score, I have got it. And that is the best in among my peers. And it makes me
Congratulations.
really happy and accomplished. But that things are not come easy package to you. You have to really work hard for it. Every year or every 2 years, you have to keep yourself upgrade with the certifications or with the licenses. This year, I'm planning myself, keep praying, and I'm preparing myself. And I just want wishes from the people also that I am going to appear for this certifications, which is from the Chartered Institute for the Securities and Investments, and that is also from the Security and Commodity Authority, which is also very well for compliance professionals. This is my goal for this year. So every year I make myself a goal. So these accreditations or licenses definitely makes your personality stronger and makes you take the right decisions on the right time.
This is very good. So basically certifications are a way to invest yourself once you get a master degree, etc. Very good. It's very inspiring. And just to share something here, I had some mothers of there were mothers at the time which were in my class, who were all like youth, but there were 2 mothers in my class. The 2 of them were among the toppest in the class. Wow. So I don't know what's the magic of it between being a mother, but basically you come with a will to hard work, which is amazing, because basically you have to take care of your kids, take care of the home. And at the same time, they were excelling at school. I don't know how they did it, but I was full of admiration towards it. Maybe you want to say something as a mother, as a wife, as the responsible also with the home, with your husband. Maybe you want to say something?
Definitely, Shaheen. So being itself a full-time worker, irrespective of gender, it itself is a big responsibility. And then after having a full-time work, then you are a mother as well. This is another full-time role which you played. So basically, a mother is acting, taking 2 hats, and just full-time job, changing from one time to another time. This is not easy at all. I can definitely agree on that, being similar onto the state, because even when your kids are, okay, I'm not sure about your class fellows' status of their kids, but for myself, my kids are in primary school, so they are small kids. It is not very easy. Your job gets double when your kids are in the primary school. Of course, it's not easy. I always keep myself remember that no one's life is easy, Shaheen. No one's life is easy. If you go to one billionaire, he will tell you the same. We considered him as a billionaire. He will tell you the same. I have these many problems to do. This is my today's to-do list. So no one's life is easy and perfect. This world, what we come in, we have to keep ourselves move on. We can't give this excuse to myself that, I am a mother of 2. I have a house to go. I have a husband to take care. I have a house chores to take care. We can't give ourselves these excuses, because end of the day, what we are going to get is going to benefit us only. We are the first recipient of that benefit. So if I today struggle a little more or stretch myself, maybe having an 8-hour sleep, I get a 6-hour sleep, and those 2 hours I utilize it to do something which is going to benefit. It was going to benefit to myself, not to others, right?
Yeah.
So these things will always keep me moving. And of course, we remember that. Just get a master's degree or PhD, or you are stopping yourself. Your mind need to keep on move. Okay? Nobody else can do it for you.
Yeah. Nayyara is like my bigger sister. Truly, she is so full of wisdom, so full. It's very good to listen to you, Nayyara. Truly, I feel guided by what you're saying, and I completely relate. I had a couple of questions before freeing Nayyara because she has work also. I wanted to know, Nayyara, if there was a particular mentor which inspired you to in your life, whether in your to become what you have become, whether it is someone in your family, in your friends, where you are looking up to this person and you tell yourself, okay, this is a good role model.
I'm not becoming too religious at this time, just to tell you, because every listener will think about from their own perspective of my answers.
Yeah.
But for me, always my role model is Prophet Muhammad.
I knew you were going to say this.
Please, once in your life, being a Muslim, go through and read the book. It will give you a way how to excel in your life. I tried myself whenever I get time to read the books and read how our Prophet Muhammad have gone through how many struggles in his life and how he reaches to the goal which has been assigned him to do, right? So we are also coming to this world. We come into this world, we are having different paths. So my life is totally different than your life, Shaheen. Your life would be totally different to other person's life. So every life we have struggles. So when we have struggles, never considered that there is only a blind hole there in the end. Always when you, with your goodwill, with your good intentions, you try your best. Then there is someone there, and which is of course Allah for us, every one of us. And Allah will always lead us to that or open that door for us where we can find our goal is getting accomplished. So this is always in your intention. This is always in your belief. This is always on your will, what you want to do. Allah gifted to us that we all have, in some part of time, we have the parents who supported us. And always be thankful to your parents. Whatever they did, it is with their limited resources they have done. Never try to compare yourself or your parents with other person's circumstances. Because remember that every person's life and struggles are different than others. Accomplishment goals could be same, but the way which they choose to accomplish that would be definitely different.
Thank you so much, Nayyara. And I just wanted to know if there were any projects or initiatives, anything that you're excited about that you would like to share with our listeners.
See, everybody is running behind Shaheen towards technology. It's giving us an opportunity to keep on improvise the existing scope of the work, which is removing the people from the manual effort and putting the technology in replace of the manual effort. This is actually the need of the time, I would say that. It's not just because I wish or someone wish, it's the need of the time.
Excellent. Well, that sounds very good, Nayyara. And I wanted to thank you so much for your time, the work you have done to come here today, the advices you have brought. We are so grateful. Jazakallahu khairan, Nayyara. Honestly, thank you so much. We feel so grateful. And I wanted to say that everyone which partakes in this project is doing charity in a sense, because we're here to give out and give back to our community, our generation, and other types of generations. So I just wanted to say, Nayyara, you're doing charity by being here. Thank you so much, and may God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Shaheen, for giving me this opportunity. And yes, when you presented me this idea back in time, then I was really excited to do that, because any small things which we can do it for others is always gets you benefit in the long run or in the short run. So always I am excited to be a part of this, though all of your efforts is this, Shaheen. But Alhamdulillah, you gave me this opportunity, and I would like to thank you so much for this also. Thank you for all the listeners, and keep all the goodwill with you, and inshallah khair for everyone. Jazakallah khair. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Nayyara. Just wishing you the best for your kids in primary school so that they perform best in class, inshallah. Thank you so much for being on our show today. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. That's all for today's episode, guys. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you have any feedback or suggestion for future episodes, please reach out to us on our social media channels. And don't forget, please, to subscribe, rate and review our show on your favorite podcast platform. This would really help us a lot. Until next time, well, stay inspired, stay curious, and keep changing the game.